Hello everybody, welcome back to HELIUM Network channel. Today I'm gonna show you how you can make a cheap and easy helium antenna, omnidirectional antenna for your helium miner. As you can see there, I already made one and mounted it on that metal pole, not the gray one, which is for the internet. I'm using that to get a better internet speed. The white one, as you can see there, in the top of the metal pole, that's the antenna I am talking about. So, I've been using it for 2 days, and at the moment I am satisfied with it. On the first day after I mounted it, I had a broadcast where 5 hotspots were witnessed. The farthest hotspot was like 20 kilometers from me, according to my measurements made on Helium Explorer app. In principle, the antenna works, but unfortunately I do not have a frequency analyzer to measure the frequency of the antenna. And regarding of how many dBi the antenna has, I approximate somewhere around, between 5 and 8 dBi. In the following, I will show you how I built the antenna and what materials I needed. To build this antenna, we need the following: a coaxial cable, a soldering gun, some tape, a measuring device, so we can check the whole cable for shorts after we cut the segments, and a tool which we will use to measure the length of the segments. We will also need a pipe in which we will put the antenna. For example, I used a PVC pipe, but you guys can use whatever works for you the best. And I believe the best pipe to use is a fiberglass one. For the antenna you saw there, I have used this kind of cable. It is called Biocal WL240. It's a thin coaxial cable, as you can see here. The thickness of it is 5 millimeters. I measured, but an LMR 400 cable will be recommended because that's what everyone uses when they are making helium antenna. For the beginning, we will have to cut cable segments, pieces, whatever you want to call them, of this cable. In my case, for this antenna, for the second antenna, I will use 12 segments, so I will add 4 more instead of 8, and each segment will have the length of 125 millimeters. So the more pieces we add to the cable, the dBi grows. Okay, so the antenna you saw over there outside has about 8 segments of cable. Each has a length of 125 millimeters. Now we will use 12 segments of the same length, so we will make a much stronger antenna than the one with 8 segments. And as you can see here, I already made 12 segments right here, but I'm going to do another one just so you guys can see how to cut the end without messing up anything. Also, if you guys do not understand very well, I will leave a link in the description of a website where I saw this antenna. You guys will have there the instructions and everything you need to know about how to make this kind of antenna. To start, we need 125 millimeters piece of cable. As I said, I measured this with this measuring tool. There we go. Now we measure 1 centimeter of cable at each end, and then we will cut just this black cover without cutting that white part under it. Just like that. Okay, so now we will have to cover this aluminum braid with a very little layer of tin, because after this we will have to cut 5 millimeters from this aluminum braid. As you can see, everything is soldered up together, and now we can easily cut this shield or braid. We measure 5 millimeters. We must be careful so we do not cut the under white part, which is the dielectric foam. Good. Alright, so now we will cut 4.5 millimeters of this white foam. So we will have remain just 0.5 millimeters to that aluminum shield. Yeah. Now I will do the same with all these other pieces. Then we're gonna move straight to the soldering part. Okay, so now I cut every segment of the cable. Now we move on to the soldering part. Now we will solder the central conductor, the copper conductor, with this aluminum shield. After every 2 segments being soldered, we will check with a digital meter for any shorts. So for example, the copper conductor doesn't need to communicate with the other one, only with this aluminum shield. So if we do not have any shorts between these 2 ends of the segments, then everything is okay. Now I continue solder pairs of 2 segments. Then in the end I will solder them all together and make the as said antenna. Okay, now I've soldered every pair of segments together. This is the pipe that I'm going to use. It's a PVC pipe, 1.85 meters long, and the antenna is exactly as the pipe. Now at the top of the antenna we have to solder a piece of fly lead, I mean a piece of copper conductor, which is about 86 millimeters long. Okay, everything is done. The next thing we need to do is insert the antenna into the PVC pipe, and after that we are going to solder a connector at the end of it. Now we are going to solder the connector. Good, now the connector has been soldered. This is an N-type male connector. Now it's time to mount it on the pole and test it. Okay, so I mounted the antenna up. I installed it on the miner. I powered it on and it seems everything is going well. What I wanted to say is that I was happy with the last antenna I had, with only 8 segments of cable, but I wanted to cover more area, and that's why I made another one which has 8 plus 6 14 segments. So basically it should have more dBi than the last one I had. I will keep you guys up to date in about 1 week after I see some activity, or at least see if I can get any witnesses with this antenna on a much longer range. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you could understand on how to make this antenna. I promise I will improve my English so you guys can understand further what I'm trying to say. That's it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below, like, and I'll see you guys on the next video.